Hey guys, Derek here, and today we're giving you a bit of a review of the Logitech DD wheelbase and wheel and the Logitech Pro pedals, as well as the Playseat Trophy. Kind of just summarizing it all as a package, giving it a rating out of 10 and letting you know my experiences with this setup. I figure what better way to show it than to drive on Sebring. For some reason, R Factor 2 didn't want to give me any force feedback today. Yesterday it did, today it doesn't. I figured R Factor 2 was going to be the best way to talk about force feedback. That being, I don't have Le Mans Ultimate yet, so RF2 was next in line for force feedback, but here we are on AC. So we're just going to start off by a bit of a drive and talk, and I have some footage of the actual hardware itself, and we're going to go over a bit of details with that and my experience. So let's just get going on the road here. So from where I'm coming from, I originally had a CSW, it's called, Club Sport version 2.5, which was a belt-driven wheelbase with a 8.5 newton meter peak force, and of course the Logitech DD is a 11 newton meter wheelbase here, and it's definitely more prominent. Like you definitely feel the difference between the 8 to the 11, which is pretty significant. And maybe it's just because it's a direct drive, and I haven't actually had too much experience with direct drive yet, so maybe that kind of almost amplifies what I'm feeling a little bit. The only other direct drive I've used, I believe, was a Moza R9, and in my opinion, this is a bit of a notch up in terms of fidelity on what you're feeling on the track. Maybe I still have to tinker with that one, or we have to check the settings on that one to do a fair comparison. But the Logitech DD, I have absolutely no complaints. The force feedback is just, I think it's just almost perfect. Like, I don't know what other information I would want to be given to my hands about what the car is doing. Like ripple curbs, elevation changes, if I spin out, the way when the tires go sideways, how it feels like it's almost numb for a second, but you still feel that tire kind of squealing underneath you from your hands, like left to right, depending on what objects you're going over. Like the detail is just so crazy when everything's dialed in right, especially if you're playing like RF2 and I'd imagine LMU, which I haven't really gotten into yet, but I probably will eventually start getting into Le Mans Ultimate or Le Mans Ultimate. But yeah, the fidelity in the wheelbase is just wild. And what I do for all of my titles is I actually keep the wheelbase set to 11 newton meters, but in the actual game, put the gain, like the actual force feedback strength, up or down. That way, in case something big happens, like a crash, like I'm going to get that output, but maybe not every little detail is going to be like giving me an arm workout. So, like even there, I just feel everything. It's super nice. The wheel itself, I probably prefer a bit of a GT wheel over the more round rim. But it's a nice mixture, so if you're doing like an oval racing and like a NASCAR setup, you get a bit of style for that, but it also feels the wheel itself does feel like athletic is the word I can describe it as. It feels nice in your hand. It's very premium feeling, like made out of a lot of like, kind of feels like a heavy metal wheel. The quick release system to get it on and off is super, super easy. And since it's Logitech, it just kind of works. Like every game that you start up, it'll detect your wheelbase with a Logitech, and all the buttons will just be like mapped out for you to go through menus and stuff like that. So I haven't really had any issues with anything like that. Yeah, force feedback's amazing. I don't think I would need anything beyond 11 newton meters at this point. I would be curious to see what it feels like. Also, just side note, I'm not new to Sebring, but I haven't had too much experience on it yet, so I'm just kind of driving off memory right now on when the break points are. But yeah, wheel feels super premium. If I had to give the wheel and wheelbase a score out of 10, I'd probably be giving it a 9.5. The price is a little hefty though, given it's $1,000. I got everything around I got all of this around the holidays, and I got some price discounts off of it. But yeah, wheel and wheelbase, I can't say enough good things about it. And Logitech does have a more GT style rim, which I'll probably get for the wheelbase eventually, since pretty much every race I do, I'm practicing the McLaren 720S GT3. So yeah, I kind of would like something that replicates that style a little bit more, like I had with my Fanatec, the McLaren wheel, the McLaren rim, which was really, really nice. But yeah, everything in the hands feels right. Everything just feels very comfortable. Lots of detail, no complaints for me there. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 in terms of fidelity. The only thing is it's a bit expensive, but when you get to that direct drive and you're getting this much detail, you kind of see what your money is paying for there. So the wheelbase itself is very large and heavy. So if you're, depending on what rig you're mounting it on, or if you're mounting it on a table, you know, be aware of that. It is a big, heavy wheelbase. It's going to take up some space, but it is very solid. Before my Playseat Trophy arrived, I had it mounted on my desk, and the actual desk mount for that was rock solid. Like, it didn't slide anywhere on my desk, no matter what I was doing or how hard I was like turning the wheel. Very, very solid desk mount as well, and very easy to use. So wheelbase 9.5.
So here's just some of the settings on the wheel. You just press the button on the top right to access the menu, and then you get to tune things like your strength, the true force, force feedback filter, dampening, and that sort of thing. And then I have my pedals plugged right into the wheelbase itself, and I keep that on 60 kilos since that's what James Baldwin said felt accurate to the actual 720S. So yeah, lots of settings that you can customize in here with the little OLED screen. So I haven't had any issues with compatibility or anything like that. Everything's just kind of worked with this wheelbase, and I just got the PC version. There's also compatibility for like older games that maybe only had G923 support. I found that as a neat option for like an old Project Cars game, but yeah, that's basically it for the menu there.
Moving on to the pedals. This I had a couple complaints with right off the hop. One being the noise the gas pedal was making when I came off of the gas, and I'll show a clip of that. And then the brake pedal, I'll go back to the pit to demonstrate so I can concentrate. Hopefully this bar is getting picked up here. The red bar, that's me hitting my brake pedal. So what would happen is if I put the pedal all the way down like this, I would notice when I'm coming off of it like that slowly, it would actually like feel like it's getting stuck on something, like ta-ta-ta on the way out. Or if I had like 50% brake and then I needed to brake harder and I started pressing in, as I was moving in, it would kind of go ta-ta-ta, and then on the way out, ta-ta-ta. And it was doing that for a bit, and I was getting kind of annoyed. So I opened up the pedal, and it does ship with brake grease, or grease for your pedals. So I just bloated a bunch of grease in there that came with it, and just kept pressing it over and over again to kind of work the grease through. And now I think it's good. I haven't noticed it since, so it's very smooth now. And it's a 100 kilo load cell brake pedal, and I don't think I'll ever be needing to put 100 kilos of force down. I have it to a point now where like I can put it pretty much there every time if you're seeing like not quite 100%, but I can put it to like the 80-90 percentile based off muscle memory, since it is load cell, of course, and you know, brakes based off the amount of force you're putting into the pedal rather than travel distance alone. So the brake pedal is really nice now that I got it situated, and I haven't tried the tougher spring or the looser spring that it comes with. I like the default. I just gelled with it, so I didn't see a need to put on any of the other springs that it comes with, but it is cool that you can customize that to get it feeling how you want. And there's also a little piece of I don't even know what it is, but the little red and orange notch thing, or little, I honestly, cylinder squishy things that you can put into the brake pedal to give it a different feel as well. So yeah, so you can really customize it how you like it. I just really like that the default, so I didn't really mess around with it. But yeah, that was my complaint about the brake pedal, and then the gas pedal was also making a bit of a noise, and the clutch I had no issue with. But I do really like the shape of the pedal. Everything feels very comfortable now. I would say I would prefer these pedals now over my CSL Fanatec V3 ones that I used to have. Those were pretty nice too. The brake pedal was very, very nice. But I do prefer the actual pedal shape and overall feel of this one. So I'd give the pedals that experience I had off the right off the bat almost seemed like it was a cheap set of pedals because of what I was noticing. But now that it's all dialed in and everything feels rock solid, I'll probably give the pedals around a 7.5 out of 10. They do come in around $430. I got them for when the wheelbase itself was $900 with the wheel. So you put that together, you got the $1,300 or $1,400 with tax price point. And then that's going to bring me on to the Playseat Trophy, which is an interesting one. So it definitely took a little bit to get, dialed in to where I needed it to. I wanted the GT Omega Prime initially, but they don't ship to Canada at all. So I had to look for alternatives. And the Playseat Trophy is something that came up that doesn't take a lot of space, that people claim is pretty comfortable to use. And, it doesn't take up space at all. Like, I'm just sitting in the corner right now, having no issues. And I'm in VR, so I really use up almost no space. So yeah, the Playseat Trophy, well, it came in at $700, where it's now priced at $800. So the first thing that when you unbox it is like, and if I have a photo of it, I'll put it up here. When you unbox the Playseat Trophy, you kind of look at all the parts when you've laid them out on the floor, and you're like, what the heck? This was $700, or if you bought it now, like this is what $800 looks like. And I guess it's more so the shape and the engineering behind it more than the actual materials themselves, because it's like I'm looking at like 4 pipes laying on the ground. I'm like, how the heck is this $700? But once we built it, it took about an hour for me to build, and then probably another hour to just tinker and get the seat position how I want it, get the distance of the pedals how I want it, the wheelbase how I want it, leaning the seat to lean back so the VR headset sits comfortably against the back. So like all that stuff probably took another hour. Now I want to touch on something on the Playseat Trophy I haven't really heard too many people touch on, and that is the force feedback and how it's affected with the Playseat Trophy, because there is no flex. Like if I move the wheel left and right, I don't notice any flex. If I move up and down, I don't notice any flex. So I'd say flex is just not a problem with the 11 Newton meter Logitech DD. Just not an issue at all. But what I noticed is that while I was waiting for this to ship, I had it on my desk, and I felt like I was getting a bit more force feedback through my hands when I was on my desk than when when I was on my desk. Then when I was put it in the Playseat Trophy, I felt like some of the fidelity was taking off into the tubing a little bit, or taking off into the aluminum and getting absorbed a little bit, and I didn't feel it quite as much in my hand. So what I wound up doing, and this is kind of an interesting result, is just upping the gain in the games that I was playing, because I leave my wheelbase on 11 Newton meters and then just set the gain accordingly. So I upped the gain a little bit, and then what I kind of noticed when I was going over bumps, and I upped the road effects and stuff like that, and especially in games like R Factor 2 where the force feedback is just amazing, I think I should say flawless, but just amazing force feedback, is that the feeling, since it's going through the tubes pretty aggressively, you actually get a seat of the pants feeling, because the force feedback goes through the aluminum stand, basically, through the tubing, and then you feel it in your seat. So when I go over a big ripple curb, maybe this could be an example here, that's kind of one. But when you go over those like aggressive notchy curbs, you feel it in your seat, and it's almost more immersive, because it's like I almost feel like the virtual driver in the car right now, because I'm getting some of that seat of the pants feeling, where it's vibrating. It's almost like a butt kicker effect, where it's vibrating like my hamstrings and stuff. So like if I go over a ripple curb on the left, I'll actually feel my left leg, feel some of the force feedback. So I thought that was actually kind of neat. And in a normal aluminum profile rig, of course, it's going to be rock solid, so it's just going to all go to your hands. But now I'm at the point where I kind of enjoy some of the feeling through the seat, and I think that's not a feature of the Playseat Trophy, but let's call it a exclusive feature for today. So overall, it is very comfortable. I think there could be, more comfortable, like if you get like a normal racing seat or car seat, it's going to be more comfortable than this. When I was initially building this, since it's kind of like a cover that you're sitting on, I almost felt like I was setting up one of those 90s lawn chairs with the what do you want to call those things? Like those bands going across horizontally with a gap that you can put your hand through, and then like those bands going across the lower part of the seat. Like I felt like I was almost assembling one of those, which is kind of funny connection there. And then of course I'll put up a video of that too if I haven't already. The Velcro noise. I don't notice this when I'm actually driving. Because of the car audio, and just you're kind of in the moment, and you actually kind of hear and feel the force feedback going through the pipes and into your seat. At least I do. So it's really a non-issue for me, but the seat is very solid. Like I can push the gas pedal as hard as I possibly can, and I have I like to think I have a pretty strong leg. And it still is solid. Like I'm not going back into the seat where I'm losing brake force because the seat behind me is getting pushed back or anything like that. It's very rock solid, so I can easily put down my 60 kilos of force, no problem. So no issues there. Overall, I'd give the Playseat Trophy. The adjusting part of it, that sucks. So if you have anyone that is taller or just needs an adjustment, you do have to get your Allen key out and make some changes, and that part kind of sucks. But if it's just for you or someone you're sharing it with is similar height, then that's not going to be an issue, which is how it is for my case. I don't have to make any more adjustments ever. Everything's kind of perfect for me right now, and I finally got to a place where the steering wheel didn't feel too far away or too close. I got everything perfect now. I wish that there was a bit more adjustability in terms of where the wheelbase is sitting on as far as height goes, but it did wind up working out pretty perfectly for me. And I am 5'7" last I checked, so works out perfectly for someone 5'7". I know people taller that say works out great for them as well. So yeah, the whole package, I would give the wheel and wheelbase a 9.5 out of 10. I would give the pedals a 8 out of 10. And then the Playseat Trophy, I'd probably give a 7 out of 10. I do really enjoy it now, and it is comfortable, and I do sit here for hours. And as someone that has a permanent back problem, it does hurt me after a little while, like maybe 3 hours, 2 hours. Like I wouldn't work in this chair 8 hours a day. Or if I was a full-time streamer, I would definitely get something else. But still is very comfortable. I think the longest session I've done in here is about 4 hours, and I've been okay on the other side. Maybe a little bit of discomfort at the end of it, but that's just because my back was just messed up. So yeah, very, very happy with the whole setup. It's a very nice experience. Takes up a small amount of room, and it doesn't look insane. Like it's a casual looking piece of tech, and doesn't take up much room. So yeah, very happy with the whole purchase. I think the Playseat Trophy is a little overpriced in my opinion. The wheel and wheelbase are rather expensive, but the fidelity you get with it, it's like where your money went. And then the pedals, I'm also very happy with at this point. So if hopefully it can, if you're looking to buy it, I'd maybe wait for a sale. But the availability of this is very appealing, where it got shipped out, I think within a week, because I could get this stuff right off of Best Buy, which is pretty crazy. So this whole set actually was off Best Buy. So that means, the return policy is going to be very, very lenient there. I think it's 30 days for any reason. So that's one thing where if you buy off of some, smaller, pop shop style racing studio, you might not have the support or the return policies or whatever of something like a Best Buy. Or maybe you get better depending where you're going. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. Very happy with this hardware. If you're looking to upgrade from a Logitech DD, or again, I haven't used other direct drive wheelbases, so I don't have a Simi Cube or anything like that. I don't really have too much of a point of reference, but I don't see how I could want any more detail, and the wheelbase has just been exceptional and works flawlessly on every game that I've played. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one. See you then. Let's get this guy. I got. All right, later.